Ex-343 devs pitched an ODST game that was almost exactly like Helldivers, but not only that, many other single-player and multiplayer ODST-themed ones. Now, this story has been confirmed by Ex-343 themselves, actually 2 different people, and this is just an interesting one. This is heartbreaking, because obviously Helldivers, this is, I think, an indie game that is obviously doing very well, spreading around like crazy at the moment, and the reason why Halo fans are talking about it so much is that it's very similar to Halo. Now, disclaimer, I have not played this yet. I will soon. It looks really good, but basically from what I can get is that the gist is that you drop into combat and fight hordes of aliens, right? And this is very similar to ODSTs, jumping into combat. You know, Helldivers, Helldroppers, very similar. So it's kind of a co-op game, and it's honestly looks very fun, right? A lot of strategy, a lot of combat, a lot of action, a lot of craziness, right? This is something that I think Halo fans appreciate like any other gamers do. And the fact is that we haven't really got anything this cool in a long time. So this is heartbreaking to know that X343 has come out and said that they have pitched 20 to 30 game ideas over the last 12 years, why at least Kevin Smith was there, which was, by the way, a lead and senior designer at 343, right? He pitched, or at least him and friends have pitched 20 to 30 game ideas at 343 that could have totally worked in the Halo universe, he says. Many single-player and multiplayer ODST-themed ones. Some galaxy-spanning, some more intimate, and one that was really dark. I have to imagine that is probably the Flood. I'm not totally sure, but this just gets me really excited about like the future and possibilities of Halo, and I really wish Microsoft would start lending out the IP to other studios other than just 343. We've seen some great examples of this, like in Zimble Studios with Halo Wars 1, and then Creative Assembly for Halo Wars 2. There is Certain Affinity that has, last we heard, about 100 people working on potentially Tatanka or a brand new Halo game, and we know that 343 is currently working on Halo 7, but there's clearly so many different stories to tell in the Halo universe, just like Star Wars. There's Marines, ODSTs, Spartans, there's the Covenant, like a story about elites, or even just brutes, you know? There are so many different places and locations and timelines. Like, we could go back before the Human Covenant War. We could go back to the very first Arbiter. We could go back with, you know, Arbiter after Halo 3, Vanished story, or Halo Wars 3, or an ODST Flood game. Successes. I just have a hunch that Halo fans like Kevin Smith and Colby Payne, which by the way commented on this, right? And I believe he was previously worked at 343. I forgot which role, but a pretty big one, I think senior something, I believe. But anyway, Colby Payne said, you know, just the eyes emoji at this too, which to me kind of seems like there's some intrigue there, some interest, maybe admitting that there was some really cool ideas here, like an ODST game that was similar to Helldivers. You know, it makes sense because, you know, firefight and ODSTs go together really well. And he talked about this all being ODST related, 20 to 30 game ideas, right? All, you know, it seems like a lot of them, many single player and multiplayer ODST themed ones. An ODST multiplayer game actually would be pretty lit. That would be pretty awesome. And so I know 343 is just one studio. Like, they can't do all of these ideas. They can't knock out all of these ideas and blow us away, right? So I feel like this is time to begin to lending out the IP. I get that 343 is, you know, low staffed right now. They have job listings. They're working on Halo 7. They have been for a couple of years, but that doesn't mean that there should be no other Halo games in the works. I don't know, and I don't understand why Microsoft is sleeping on Halo. It is like a sleeping giant right now, and I suppose they did throw almost $200 million at the TV show, but clearly they did not really think that one out, and that's not something that we really asked for or wanted. There seems to be a disconnect, but people like Kevin Smith and Colby Payne, I bet, could really lead the charge on crafting and directing some new games. You know, without knowing these guys and their careers super well, I just sense that they were Halo fans, and unfortunately neither of them work at 343 anymore, but them coming out and admitting these kind of things makes me think about what other wonderful ideas are just sitting there on the back burner that everyone would love, that they would pile in, and that this would reassert this game into being like a dominant top tier AAA game series, right? But with that being said, what do you guys think? If you could create a Halo game yourself, what would it be? Be sure to smash that like button, Blue, and I'll catch you in the next one soon. Peace.